Before we start, let me show you what we will design today. In 3, 2, 1, enjoy. Sup people, this is your host Ray. Welcome to my channel. Today on today's test we learn how to create that scroll effect in Figma. I hope you like the video. Let's jump to the execution part directly. The first and foremost thing we'll start is to design the header, and in my header component I'm just using a simple heading and a user avatar to show the user profile image. And once we are done, okay, just bonjour is the heading. It's just like good morning in the French. We have 50 by 50 width and height of avatar, which will display the user image. And let me use a sample image from Unsplash plugin, and we are ready then to create a simple header component. Let me select a simple image. Okay, good enough. Come on, man. Okay, good enough. Okay, so this is a simple and foremost header component. So the next part is to create a content component for our device, and this component, the content component which I'm telling, will have that scroll effect in both the direction, vertical as well as horizontal. For this demo and preview version, I'm just creating a content which will have the scroll effect in only vertical direction. So the first part is to create the content of this particular content components, and let me choose a single image. In our case we are just adding a image as well as its corresponding title and the bunch of collection of images in vertical direction. So let me give it a full width and certain height to this image, placed it in the center, and some text. So let's say we'll have a text as a title or anything you can give it, placed it in the center, little bit nearby the image. So this will be our simple and the first component, the content of the content. Once we are done, we just have to make it as a component, and I'm just gonna duplicate it to create more content like this. Let me place it on this particular frame. Okay, so the whole content of this particular application is ready. Since we have to give it scroll effect, so I am just choosing more the content and more number of images and the title. So next part is to create the whole scroll effect within this component instead of just giving it outside the frame. The first thing you have to understand is you can only give the the scroll effect to a particular frame. You cannot give scroll effect to a particular component. Let me show you how. So once we select all the images and the corresponding title on the right hand side, we have to create it in the frame by clicking on the right side of the mouse, and we have to select the frame selection. So once we click it, it's all become a frame. So now this particular content, if you can see it, I can just easily drag and drop, move it out of the frame, and this will be our whole content component. You can easily give it a name also. So I'm giving it as a name, content component. Good enough. So this content component will have the scroll effect. You cannot give scroll property to a particular box or the frame. For example, if I create this particular box and if I try to give, let's say content in multiple ways, I cannot give scroll effect to this particular whole component. Okay, you have to make it as a frame instead, and then only you can, if you make it as a frame, then you can give the scroll property to this particular section. So make sure you take that into consideration. Once our content component is ready, next part is to give it a scroll behavior. It's just like a CSS if you are into a development domain. Next, how we'll choose the scroll behavior is from the prototype. This will be the section you can see into the sidebar in the right hand side. Once you choose the prototype, you just have to choose the scroll overflow behavior, and make sure you have selected the particular component which you want to have the scroll property. So I have chosen content component, and I'll go to the prototype. Under overflow behavior, I'll choose in whatever direction I want to give it scroll, horizontal, vertical, or both the directions. So for this demo version, I'm only giving it in a vertical direction. So let me choose it and we are done. Still, I'm not showing you the preview, how that scroll works, but just give few seconds and later on we'll show you how that scroll being added in this content component. Let me put it back into the frame and we are ready with this thing. One more thing which is important again, most of the time you can see the content of this frame. It's clipped, but you can definitely see the content of this particular frame. If you want to toggle that behavior, please check or uncheck this particular component, that is clip content. So if I choose our frame, let's say content component, and if I clip it, we can see that currently it's not showing. Let me have it, let me put it back. Okay, let's put header at the top, this component, and if I clip the content, okay, I hope you can see it. If I clip the component, I can actually I'm actually just like cropping the component from this particular content frame. So if I, let's say, uncheck this box, I can still see the remaining components or the boxes. So this is, make sure you toggle this behavior, and I'm just adding some of the spaces from the bottom so that I can add the footer section. Okay, so our content of the frame is done. We have added the scroll behavior. The next section is to give it a footer. Your footer component can be anything. You can add the bookmarks or like button or simple navigation tabs or so on. In my case, this will be a footer section. I'm just putting it at the center, and let me remove the space. So okay, but I already have this whole footer component been made up using some of the icons. So let me put it back again over here and let me place it at the center. Okay, so our footer and the whole thing is ready enough. I'm sure this images section will have particular width. Okay, good enough. So the last part is to see how a scroll effect will work, and that's where the Figma have leverages over any other tools I have used and preferred. It's the plus icon button on the top right corner. Once you click it, it will preview this whole scroll in frame name into an application, and it will show you how this will gonna look like in a real devices or something like that. How you gonna check it? Let me show you in a few seconds. Once this is done, let me show the prototypal. Plus icon is on the screen. Make sure this plus icon is on the frame which you want to preview it, and once you click it, it will take some time to load from the internet. And once we are done, the whole frame is ready. Good enough. Let me check that whether scroll is working or not. Cool enough. So that's it, a scroll is working perfectly. Currently no avatar or anything is clickable, just a title with the scroll property. Good enough. So the last is how I have this iPhone frame and so on. So inside this particular prototype, Figma gives you an extended devices mockup like things where you can give a clear and clean and exact mockup of what particular device you want to preview in. So in our case, I have chosen from this bunch of list, I have selected iPhone 11 Pro Max. You can choose in whatever devices you want to view the preview. Make sure that the frame which you want to preview it should have the same frame. The frame you have chosen should have the same type of device as in which you want to preview it. So in our case, the scroll in phone is particularly choosing iPhone 11 Pro Max, and in the prototype we are actually giving it the same behavior, that is same device, iPhone 11 Pro Max. So make sure you have the same things. Another thing is how I have those, yellowish color background is simple. In the background effect, you can choose which particular background you want to add. So you can even add it black also. This also looks nice sometimes to give it a preview, and we are done it. That's it for today, people. Thanks a lot for watching the video. Until next time, stay safe and stay happy.